Welcome to Hardheaded Podcast. We're excited that you've joined us as we have a conversation.
It's time to join the conversation.
All right, welcome to the Hardheaded Podcast. I am your host this evening or this morning, whenever you're listening. My name's Troy Trussell, and I am seated here with Mr. Chet Sears. Once again, Mr. Matt Amos could not be with us.
And I'm starting to wonder because
I
was like, are you going to make it back, Matt, in time? And he's like, the transition is taking longer than anticipated. And now I'm questioning why he's gone.
What
it may
transition?
not be a vacation. I don't know. Let your imagination wander on that one.
Is his name going to be Mary when he gets back?
I don't know.
Wow. Well, taking his place today, we got Mr. Christopher Broughton on the phone with us. Say hi, everyone.
Hi, everyone.
There you go.
Our routine fill-in guest host.
That's right. So welcome to the show, Beef.
Thank you. I'm like the Joan Rivers of Hardheaded.
Yes. Okay.
I love it. I only remember her best performance from Spaceballs.
I couldn't have told you that she was in Spaceballs.
She was the
He played Dot,
C-3PO.
Matrix, the robot.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
all Joan Rivers.
New. I get the voice now, but she wasn't
Yeah.
in that suit.
I don't know. I seriously doubt that.
I doubt it, but you never know. She
Okay.
was that skinny.
Yeah, she was. Yeah, that's funny.
Which is why we refer to you as the Joan Rivers of the Hardheaded Podcast.
Oh, nice. We're going to have a good show already, I can tell. So today we're going to talk about, I'm going to give a good word later, but we're going to talk about our top three, the top three things.
Top three most impactful things to change society. Now, we could talk bad about how these are worded because Matt did it and he can't defend himself. Top three most impactful things to change society.
Which
society?
Yeah.
Not sure. What is impactful? I don't know, but we're gonna muscle through this.
Yeah. Anyway, but to kick things off, we're going to talk about what's on your mind, Chet. So what do you got?
All right, so I got some good feedback from the last What's on My Mind I did were things I don't get.
Yeah.
And I wasn't done. Like I had a list, remember? Because everything I didn't get, you did, right?
Well, all but one.
Right.
Yeah.
I think we're going to be different this go around. I have more things
All right.
I don't get.
I'm going to treat this as like one of those reaction videos, and I'm going to react like over the top.
Yeah, and if you disagree with, I'm not saying these things are wrong. I just don't get them. Vibram 5-finger toes shoes. I don't get them.
I get those. I tried some on one time.
But I don't get it.
I was like, man, I could wear these.
No, you couldn't.
No, I
not in
could.
society. You shouldn't.
Why not? Is that going to be one of your top three things?
It's not that impactful on society. It's impactful on my opinion of certain individuals.
Honestly, I didn't even know they still made those things. When they came out and they were all the rage or whatever.
They were never the rage.
Like 6 years ago.
I don't know.
I tried some on. I was like, man, these are comfortable. Because it's just kind of like...
No, they're not.
It's like walking around barefoot.
Well, just walk around barefoot then.
But
Or just put a sock on. Same
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, I don't get it.
they're like rubber gloves for your feet.
But who wears rubber gloves for their hands out in society, in the public?
I mean, plumbers, maybe.
No, they don't need to. They don't need to
mechanics.
torque a wrench with their toes.
Mechanics. They make mechanical gloves. I mean, a lot of mechanics
They don't just wear them around, walking around. I don't get that. One of the first, I was like, hey, I don't get that. And then people are like, oh, well, trail running and this, that, and the other. And then I was at the airport and there's a guy wearing khakis, but tucked in polo, a belt, and then he was wearing and I'm like, no, I don't get it.
What are they called again?
The Vibram 5-fingers.
I didn't even know what they were called.
Yeah,
So.
5-finger toes. I don't know.
Well,
I don't get that.
they were way above my pay grade, so I didn't buy any when I tried them on.
All right, what's your favorite apple? We're moving on to the next one.
Pink Ladies.
Pink lady. How about you, Broughton?
Honey Crisp.
Honey Crisp.
Oh, those are good.
How
too.
many apple varieties are there?
Hundreds.
Yeah.
I don't get why there's so many stinking apple varieties.
Well-
Because nobody likes Red Delicious. I'll tell you right now. Nobody likes Red Delicious. And the Granny
Those are the
Smith
big
are
ones,
only for
right?
baking. Nobody likes to eat those.
The big, right? Yeah.
Why are we taking up so much produce area, square footage,
In the grocery
with
store.
that many varieties of apples?
Now-
We need to stop. Stop with the scientists in the apple world should stop right now.
Now,
We have
Do you want me
to.
to
know-
answer your question? You want me
Yeah.
to answer your question?
I do. I'm asking.
Okay, this is what I've heard, and I'll tell you who's not going to like this is Hankins.
Yeah.
But I heard that all like the industrial agriculture and GMO has made the apples, like the Red Delicious, is now not good and tasty like it was when you were a young child in 1982, because of all like the GMO and the genetic whatever.
Why do you
And
GMO
so
it to
they
taste
keep
worse?
having to make sweeter because they've like destroyed genetic diversity and it's all clones. They have to keep developing sweeter varieties of apple to have a good apple.
You
That's what I heard.
You may be right, but they need to stop. Let's just stop it and quit GMOing the things.
When
Well,
God
I happen
created
to know
trees,
somebody very influential in agriculture, and I'm going to get on that.
Okay. Well, he's more influential on the agriculture that is not. Apples are bougie. He does agriculture that provides for the food and shelter and covering of the world. And
He could handle apples if he needed to.
we're talking about Hank Jones, a former guest of the show,
Right,
a
yeah.
cotton farmer and entomologist. But anyway, I don't get it. I'm tired of it. I'm just done with apples. Like you got too many. You know, peaches, there's just a couple peaches options. Like we hadn't ruined that yet with GMOs.
oh, you have to get a peach from Ruston, or you're not eating a real peach.
They're trying to donut peaches and they're trying to make bougie peaches. Just give me a yellow peach.
I got some peach hot sauce from a local guy here.
Not
Maybe they need to do
necessary.
apple hot sauce instead of apple sauce.
I've got some apple jam with hot sauce, like peppers in it. It's really
All right,
good.
we're moving on.
Oh, okay.
All right. Bathroom humor here.
Yeah.
The urinals, sorry ladies, you're not going to experience
There's
this.
no women listening to this.
The urinals that have automatic flushes. Okay, are you with me? The sensor.
yeah.
So when you step away, they flush.
yeah.
All of those urinals, no matter what brand, also have a button
Right.
so that if the sensor goes out,
You can push the button.
there are a vast number of people that push the button anyway. They
I'm
they
aware.
pee
I'm aware.
and then they push the button. I don't get it. Why would you voluntarily touch a urinal?
I agree with you in this one.
That's
with
it's
this one.
it's crazy to me.
Dude, you suck.
Why?
Because the sensors don't always work. These people care about clean
No.
bathrooms.
No.
They want to make sure they're flushed. They practice good hygiene. They wash their hands anyway, and it's a win-win, and they're helping society, and you don't get it because you don't help society.
Here's the deal.
No, wait, hey, the one in our bathroom
Works all
at
the time.
studio here.
The sensors
no?
work all the time.
No, it doesn't. I think the sensor's going out a little bit, but
It just worked.
yeah, it depends on the
My
day.
sample size of 1 says that works, but go ahead.
But I don't like pushing the button.
No, you don't
But-
push the button unless you have to.
But what I'll do is I'll go to the bathroom, then I'll wash my hands, and then I'll get a paper towel.
If it didn't already
If
flush.
it didn't already flush, and
Yeah.
I'll go hit the button with the paper towel.
So, Broughton, your rant that you went on, I'm all about making sure that it flushes, but don't touch the button until you know that the sensor didn't work. And I use some stuff that the sensors never failed, and people routinely still touch that button.
Yeah, they do.
I don't get it.
I agree. I agree with you. We're 1 for 4.
We're a lot better off this go round.
All right.
I don't get taking your kid's boyfriend or girlfriend on family vacation with you.
Whew. What ages? Give me some ages.
High school. I don't get it.
Yeah, I would say middle school. Like, no. Why are you even dating?
No. In
And
high
then-
school, no.
And then high school, I'm like,
You're not family. You're not family. This is a family vacation.
I'm like,
Yeah, I'm with Chet. I'll give Chet this one.
No
Wow.
way. Not doing it. Like, why?
yeah.
You're-
I can see why that would
No.
happen in certain.
From a parent's perspective, there's no good reason.
well, no boyfriend is coming along with my daughter, but I could see how that play out.
That's my point. You don't do it.
Yeah, it shouldn't
All
happen.
you're doing is introducing opportunities that are outside of your control. You kind of know you got rules, all that kind of stuff with your home.
Yeah,
you're going to go on vacation.
This is the realm of the home that you can be in.
Not
if you
doing
get
it.
caught in any other room, you're dead. Like, yeah.
No, but that's not happening on vacation. That goes all out the door. Like you got.
We're gonna take a walk down the beach.
No. I don't get it. Yeah, and I don't know.
I'm with you on that, but
I'll even go to college. I'm not doing that. Like engaged, probably. Dating, no. I'm sorry, you're not a part of the family. You're not taking family portraits with us if you're just dating somebody in my family, guy or girl.
I've seen that happen, and then they're in the picture later. Yeah.
You just don't do it. I don't get it. I don't get people that do that. All right.
Have you ever excluded someone out of a picture, a boyfriend from one of your daughters or anything out of a picture? Like, hey, get out of here. You're not in the family.
No, because we're not taking pictures of family and while they're there. Like, no, it just, if they were, I would just say, hey, just so you know, you're not going to be in this picture. Yes. Like I wouldn't have to say, get out of here. Yes. Hey, we're about to take a family picture. And guess what? Last time I looked, you're not family. Right?
Yeah. Last time I looked, her last name's still Sears, buddy.
Yeah.
Get out.
So, even if it's a girlfriend to stone.
Yeah.
It's not, you got to be in the family if you're going to be on family stuff, in family pictures, on family vacation.
I like it.
All right.
I concur, Chet.
All right, here we go. All right, we're this is testy, okay? Because I know that Broughton's going through some situations right now with weather related. But here you go. I don't get people who always complain about the weather. I don't get it unless the weather has been wind and knocks out your power every other week and then leaves you without air conditioning or whatever. I'm okay with complaining about an event that happened because of it.
Yeah, especially losing power.
It's 100 degrees today in Wichita. By the way, my air conditioner at home is out. Thank you, Hardheaded Podcast. I have a commitment to record this with you. My wife is at home sweating right now, and I've got to go fix that thing. I'll take care of it. But it's 100. You know what? I can't even get on social media because all my Wichita friends are complaining. Well, you know what? We get like 30 to 50 days a year that are triple digits. Deal with it.
And on our crazy year, like once every 7 years, we'll get like 100 days of over 100.
Who cares?
But yeah, I'm with you.
You can't change it.
You know what I found myself doing the other day?
Complaining about the weather?
No. I told Hannah, I was like, I had this crazy thought today. She's like, what'd you think? I said, I thought to myself, man, I can't wait for the cold weather to come back. And I've never been one to even like cold weather.
Yeah.
I hate cold weather. Like I don't complain about it. I just don't like it. I would rather be hot than be cold. But I had that thought, and I was just like, get behind me, Satan. I mean, I don't.
You're Satan. You're in Satan with the heat.
Well, I absolutely agree I'm with Chet. People that complain about the weather all the time, you know where you live, you know the weather, and sort of related to that are people who think their place has crazy weather. This crazy Louisiana weather, this crazy Kansas weather, this crazy Vermont weather.
Everybody
it's
thinks
all
it's crazy.
It's all different every day. Shut up.
Yes.
The statement, you know, when you live in Kansas, it could be raining and windy and 100 degrees and sunny all in the same day. # only in Kansas. Like, no, that's every state that a cold front goes through.
It's everywhere. Yeah.
But
the weather's the same in Hawaii or San Diego or something. But other than that, it's all changes all the time in the day.
Yeah.
And people think, oh, this crazy Tennessee weather, Rocky Top. I'm an idiot. Shut up.
Well, and the same fronts go through sometimes like Nebraska,
all
Kansas,
the way down,
all the way down to Texas. It's like, what?
Yeah.
So, I look at Chet's weather and I'm like, okay, that's 12 hours before me. Whatever Chet got, 12 hours before, he's going to go down to Dallas and come over here.
Yep.
That's what I got.
Yeah, and you're just going to live with it and not get on the internet and complain to everybody like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how hot it is. Da, 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 da. And it's all, you always have different perspective. I was in San Diego for work years ago, and they were having, I turned the TV on the hotel room, and it's like, they're intensely talking about something. And it was this heat wave that San Diego was having. And there was a veterinarian they had as a special guest talking about how your pet needs to be handled in this heat. And the heat wave that they were talking about, it was like 92 degrees. And they were talking all these extra preparations you have to take for the watering your pet, having enough water for your pet to drink. And you need to limit the time that your dog has outside when it's 92 degrees. And I'm thinking, you guys are idiots. And everybody talking to you like, oh my gosh, it's oppressive. The oppressive humidity. People in Wichita, Kansas complain about oppressive humidity. They don't know what humidity is.
What is they're saying that the weather is oppressing their soul? Like what?
The humidity, they just can't live because it's so humid here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I don't get it.
Have I ever told you the story about when I dropped my dog off at the veterinarian one time? This is like the first year I moved here, and it was like 78 degrees, beautiful outside, clouds.
Yeah.
And this girl walked out with her little dog and was like, oh, the humidity. And I looked at her and literally started laughing out loud.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about?
They're brainwashed. So when we moved here, everybody's complaining about it, and and the people that I know that are complaining, I'm like, look, you don't know what humidity. If this is what you're complaining about, you don't know what humidity is and what the threshold of complaint should be. And we were watching the news one night. We've lived here, I don't know, through that first summer. Yeah. And towards the end of that summer, the weather guy's like, and we're so unbearable today, 60% humidity. And I'm like, the weatherman is telling these idiots that 60% is unbearable. Yeah. And I grew up where it's 98% humidity,
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's so bad that the weather people are changing the way they measure weather to make it easier for people to complain about it. So today, I don't know, I've been out of town all day, but I got back in this evening. But they do it's actually 90, the actual temperature is 94 or 96 or whatever.
But the heat index.
The real field temperature is like
104.
Yeah. Well, is it really 104? No, it's not. So quit telling people it's hotter than it actually is because they're complaining more.
Yeah.
Like this is the actual temp. Deal with it.
Well, they won't even say wind chill and heat index anymore. They just say the feels like temperature.
Yeah.
Because they don't want people to have to, think about what a word means.
I'm with you, and it burns me up. All right. Last one, possibly controversial. Letting kids have priority over adults. I don't get it.
What? When would this happen?
It happens all the time.
What do you give an example?
I'll give you an example.
I'll tell you when it happens.
You go for it.
When spouses are divorcing and they are competing for the affections of those kids, they want to be the better, funner, more liked parent. And even if they've been divorced for 3 years and everything's fine, they still have an innate, they want to be better than the other one, and they'll just do a little more. They'll do one more activity, one more cooler toy, and they'll never stop trying to one-up each other. It's,
and if they would have tried,
mine and Chet's relationship is set, but I'm never going to try to stop punking him whenever I get a chance because that's the way it is. Those divorced parents will never stop. Oh, you have 5 minutes with nothing to do? Let's go to the zoo. Just tell him to sit down and shut up.
You're a kid.
Anyway,
you're a kid. And I'm not thinking about it from that, just the divorced parents perspective, but I can't go on I would go on the men's retreat weekend. And this is not, I run men's retreat for my church, and this is not something that was said in this case, but this is the kind of stuff that happens these days. I can't go on a men's retreat weekend with the church to get closer to God and closer with fellow men in my church because Johnny has a YMCA pickup soccer practice.
And it's his 5th soccer league of the year.
Yeah.
He's already played travel soccer,
here's the
YMCA soccer, school soccer,
Well,
your
Whatever
relationship with Christ and your fellowship with your fellow man in your church is more important than little Johnny going to soccer practice. And little Johnny's priority is lower on the scale than the spiritual walk of you as a dad. And I'm not saying you can only get spiritual things from a men's retreat, but you can't let little Johnny's soccer schedule run your whole life. You can't. I'm not going on vacation because, my kids are, they've got, I signed them up for 17 camps this summer. Well, what's more important, your kid going to that one camp or your kid spending time with the family, doing this? It's like, oh, you want to bring it down to a level. I can't eat until I feed all my kids. You know what? If your kids are busy, go eat and then make them a plate. Like you don't have to wait and all kids always go first. And this kind of got me going thinking about it. I was listening to the Unashamed podcast, and Zach, one of the producers, and he's also one of the guys that talks on there, but he's the one in North Carolina, is like, just so you guys know, because they were talking about when he was a kid, like a cousin or whatever running around, just so you know, the Robertson hierarchy is oldest first. And so they're going to make a meal. There's going to be enough food to feed everybody. But if you are in middle school and you go get in line in front of Phil's going to tell you, you go sit down. Like, I haven't eaten yet. Miss K hadn't eaten yet. You sit down. You're not important. You didn't make this food. You didn't provide for this food. You're not important. You can't contribute to this family yet. You get to the back of the line. You're going to have enough to eat, but you're not. And I'm like, you know what?
I like that.
Our society has just gotten to the point where we're catering to all of our kids, and they don't know what it's like to not have something. They don't know what it's like. You give respect to the adults. Because the adults are like, oh my gosh, I've got to forfeit my respect over to them, and everything's catered to all the kids. So anyway, that could be a whole epised.
Oh, it could be.
Yeah, I can't share this podcast online now because there's about 150 people that cannot hear me say what I just said. Because they know. They'll be like, he's talking about me.
No, you weren't talking about those 150 people. You were talking about the 151st person that is not following you on social media.
Yeah, I was only talking about people in, Vermont, so don't worry about it.
All right, well, that's my things I don't get, part 2.
I like it.
So if there are things that you don't get, maybe I don't get them either, and I'll talk about them on a future podcast. So leave a comment in the comment section of whatever device you're listening to us on.
Yep. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back with a top 3.
Most impactful things to change society.
At Admiral's Pennant, our mission is to offer the latest and refined, high-quality masculine products and services to the modern gentleman, as well as provide him with the tools and products necessary to look, act, and feel confident in his appearance and social interactions. Check it out at admiralspennant.com. Without it, you might as well shave.
Man, we're back. Oh, we're not doing that?
Oh, yeah, good job. You got it. Nailed it.
You did it.
Beef nailed it. All right, the top 3 most impactful things to change society. I'll go first. Number 3, a social media crash.
When? Oh, that would change society.
That would change society. I think that would be fantastic.
Okay.
Not a whole internet crash, because the internet does a lot of good.
Does it really?
Well,
yeah, I mean, 1987 was a cool year, bro.
1987 was pretty rad, but going back 40 years might...
the internet does a lot of convenience.
Right.
I don't know if it does a lot of good.
Going back 40 years might be too much for society. So I'm just gonna go with the social media crash.
Okay.
That'd be good enough.
So that would include YouTube?
Yeah. Sorry, man.
What internet sites do people the ability to communicate on the internet?
Yeah.
Like no comment sections, no
social media at all.
Okay.
Number 2, new government systems.
I don't know what that means.
So new, not necessarily a whole new government, but some major reconstructing of our current government.
Well, are you proposing something right now? Or are you just saying, if we did that, it would change society?
I'm saying if we
like
did that.
Forbes flat tax?
I'm saying if
like the fair tax. Have you heard about the fair tax?
Vaguely.
Yeah.
I can't speak about it.
We don't need to get into that here. I'm a proponent.
Okay. Maybe it's what's on my mind next month. Yeah, just new government systems. And then number one, 100% of the population doing at least one act of kindness a day. That would change society.
What's an act of kindness?
Doing good for another person. Doing something good for another person.
Like holding open a door? Because I disagree with you on that.
No, like something.
Showing door holding.
Like helping somebody out
Okay.
in a time of
Like
need.
pulling over and helping somebody change a tire.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Like filling in on a podcast so that's down a host.
Yes.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
You've already started changing society with this.
Yeah, I'm
participation.
changing the world. I'm number one most impactful thing in society right now.
Okay.
Awesome. All right, Chet, what do you got?
All right. I went in a different direction than you did by interpreting the statements here. Like, what were the most impactful things to change society?
Well, it didn't say were. It said top 3 most impactful things to change society.
Yeah. There was a thing that was a most impactful thing that
Okay, go ahead. Whatever.
changed society. So we're in a 1-to-1 tie, depending on how Broughton went with this.
That's right, because you're in the past
know.
and I'm in the future.
Currency.
Okay.
Most impactful things to change society. So when you were doing trade, you actually had to have a system where you had something of value to somebody else, and that person had to have something of value to you in order to trade a 1-for-1 thing. So it would be very hard for any kind of commerce because you would have to only be partnering with people that did something that you needed. Well, currency came along and allowed you to get value, a dollar, a coin, for selling something that was of value to somebody else, and they represented their value in that currency, and then you could trade that currency with anybody for anything that you needed. So it opened up the ability for society to grow.
When was the first currency ever?
Oh, it's thousands and thousands of years ago.
Yeah.
1930.
Was it like the Romans or
It was before the Romans. I'm sure they found things of value to trade. It may not have been like coins or anything like that.
Yeah, because the
but
Romans had denarius, right? Or
they had all kinds of different stuff. And then you know they were trading with spices before that. You know, so there's some stuff that had value, but the ability to have a mutually agreed upon, tangible exchangeable thing that had value, the same value to everybody, but higher quantities to represent more value.
Well, in the beginning, they used to do the barter, and then they tried to keep ledgers. Like, okay, well, let's say, like, Chet gave Troy 5 camels, and Troy owes Chet 5 camels of stuff, and we're trying to figure out what does Troy have that's worth 20 goats and a mule, and then they finally came up with currency as a ledger system that doesn't have to be centrally kept because it's the medium that a camel's worth 10 tokens and a goat's worth 1 token, and and it, instead of keeping like the king keeping the ledger, they developed currency to be an independent ledger system in your pocket,
which allowed you to be more free. A medium of exchange is what it's called. I had an economics professor that had English as a second language that would say medium of change.
Bitcoin is the digital version of that. But
yes.
Anyway.
Which I'm not necessarily such a big fan of anymore, but we can get into that in a different one. Number 2, the atomic bomb.
totally.
I just heard one go off in the hallway.
Yeah, it's the cleaning people.
Oh, okay. Well, totally changed society altogether. Ended a war, has prevented wars, and has also, I think, made wars smaller because of this. Like if Germany tried to do world domination again, I think they'd just blow them off the map. Like it's like, oh, it's different now kind of thing. Or they all have nukes and like, well, if I go to try to do this, they're going to nuke me. I'm going to nuke them. Then the world's different. So I think the atomic bomb
Is that new movie coming out, Oppenheimer? Is that about the guy who created the atomic bomb?
Yeah. The Trinity. the first test.
Yeah.
Stone and his friends are really excited about going to see that. Like they have already bought their tickets, and it comes out in a couple weeks.
I am too, because Nolan is one of my favorite directors.
Yeah. Well, the site where that we've been there, like by it, 10 miles from it, the White Sands, New Mexico.
You know, he's bringing back the length of time that the movie is going to be shown in theaters and a wait time from when it's released on streaming.
Well, there's a wait time now.
No.
Yeah.
It depends on the production.
Right. Yeah. So he's not bringing it back.
Well, he's not bringing it back, but he's trying to make it longer to try to bring back the theater experience. So more people will see
like
this
to
movie.
the DVD era or the VHS era?
Well, probably just the DVD era.
Yeah.
But
because it was years in the VHS era.
They're doing 100 days.
Oh, yeah, that's not that long.
But I mean, compared to, hey, stream it at home today or go see it in the theater today.
I have reached a point in my life where it's like, oh, I won't be able to see that for 100 days after release. Not that big a deal to me anymore. Like, oh, who cares?
Well, me too, but I love the theater experience. And there's been some movies recently that they go to theater and they're done in 2 weeks, and it's
then it's out. Yeah.
Man, I got time to go see it now. And then,
yeah. I'm with you on that. So,
anyway.
Number one, the Gutenberg printing press is I think the number one most impactful thing to change society and what he was able to do printing books. So, I mean, literacy, what did he print? He printed the Bible, got the Bible into people's hands. And just kind of give you an idea from a printing press perspective, changed society as a whole. He printed 150 Bibles and it took 3 years. Oof. But that was absolutely mass production in comparison. They didn't even think about having Bibles that you can give to anybody else. It was just like, we're going to have this in the church because it takes so much to get another one. And he's like, no, we can do this at a mass
because they
level.
were copying it, handwriting it.
But there wasn't an effort to mass produce enough for an average person to have a Bible. So then you had to rely on the church to tell you what's in the Bible.
And that's where all the corruption came from with all the priests and all the,
And so to actually get the Bible and other literature, when you think printing press in general, the people started being able to educate themselves and not depend on their infrastructure, whether that be the church or some kingdom to develop. So anyway, that's my number one.
Nice. Beef, what you got?
All right. Now, you all went different directions, and I actually contemplated that. I had a list of things like Troy, things we could change to be the most impactful in society. And then I had things that, like Chet did, the most impactful things in history. And then things that, I had like things that would impact society the most, and then things that we need to eliminate from society. So I have a bunch of lists.
Which one are you going to choose?
Which one to go with?
Flip a coin.
I'm going to choose the ones that I don't know. I feel like just if I went rapid fire, I could give you all of them.
Go for it. And then Troy and
I
I'll
the ones
both
from the
be
past,
right.
the Chet style list. First I had fire, but then I'm like, well, do we even have society? I don't know. So that's questionable. I went electricity, internal combustion engine, and then the microprocessor.
The transistor. Or no,
microprocessor.
The next step.
The microprocessor. It was vacuum tube, then it was transistor, then it was microprocessor.
Yeah.
So different. And then the one like Troy, things that the most impactful things we could eliminate from society right now to make it better: social media, sexual deviancy, and godlessness. Our society is being dominated by this sexual deviancy and this, pride parade, children seeing naked people running down the street being deviant and all that stuff. And that's killing our society. All the stuff that they told you in Sunday school would happen in the end times that you thought was just not real is happening.
Yeah, the one like these drag shows for kids where they're like dancing around in thongs in libraries. Like that's not legal for a minor to go to an establishment where that is the product.
Right.
But
you can do
like
it
as
in
a
the
society, we have
library.
laws against that on the heterosexual side.
Yeah.
So you can't have a kid going to a strip club. Like that's illegal. Like it's
Yeah.
against the law. However,
I mean, yeah. People have made
you go to some of these
sexual
pride
deviance
parades
their
and they're
god.
doing that, stripping naked on floats that kids are invited to. Like it's a family friendly thing. I don't get that. Like you say, at that level, that's deviancy, in my opinion, because it's illegal.
It's beyond
it's illegal.
sexuality. It's now like deviancy.
Well, it's illegal to expose yourself as well.
Not at a pride parade.
Well, it should be.
Not at the White House either. Did you see that?
Well, you can snort coke in the White House too.
Will
Apparently,
you stop it with the hate speech, Troy?
Man,
You're a hater.
I just
Did you see the?
I'm getting fired up, man.
They had a trans person, a dude
Oh my
with
gosh,
boobs.
drinking Bud Light,
No. At the White House.
At the White
At an
House.
event.
snorting coke,
No,
drinking
no.
a Bud Light.
Maybe some of that. No. But then lifted up the shirt and took a bare-chested selfie with the fake boobs in the White House, like on the lawn.
Oh,
At an event
Didn't
they
like
were invited
Biden
to.
kick him out or something, or somebody
They're
did?
not invited back.
Biden doesn't even know
No.
where he's at.
No, he doesn't. That guy's gone.
he's a puppet.
So, and my other one was the three things that we could inject into society that would be most impactful. Not that these things don't exist, but and there's not necessarily an order. I'll put work ethic, God, and family. Those things have been trounced by the other things that we talked about. But people don't want work ethic. People don't want to work. Nobody wants to do a trade. Nobody wants to work hard. They all just want to have things given to them or get rich quick. And that's making our society less able to handle troubles. And then, of course, godlessness is what's, leading society into destruction. And the family is an offshoot of that.
I saw we were coming back from vacation last week, and I stopped at a gas station on whatever day it was. Friday. It turned out to be a lottery day, like because the lottery's way high.
Yeah,
I mean, you may win tonight. I don't know, but I'm wanting to pop in, right? I'll pop in, grab some sunflower seeds, and pop out. There's like 10 people in line, and all of them were like factory workers, blue collar, and all of them were there to buy lottery tickets. And I'm like, man, that get rich quick. I've never bought a lottery ticket day in my life. Maybe I've had
now,
somebody.
I'm a sucker for that too. I haven't
I may
bought
have
one in a while,
somebody.
but
I
I'll
may
get
have
in
had
the
somebody
mood.
buy one for me.
Yes.
But it's not like $760 million is what was on the billboard when I was driving over.
Yeah.
I'm not like, oh my gosh, what time is that going to draw? I got to go get it. I'm like, no, heck, my air conditioner, my house is broken. I probably need that extra dollar to go to pay for whatever that
Probably
was.
40% of those blue collar people buy it every week anyway.
Not so much that it clogs up the whole gas station. Like the lady was
True.
like, oh my gosh, all these people in here. She's like, I don't know. I'm with you, man.
Kansas is an anonymous lottery winning state. So you could win it all and you don't have to tell Troy.
That's right.
In Louisiana, you got to mask it somehow with some legal paperwork because they make the winners public.
Yeah, last time I bought one was when it was $1 billion. I went and bought $20 worth.
How many is that? 10 tickets? How much do they cost?
Yeah,
$2?
$2, 10 tickets. You know how many numbers I got?
0.
No, not even one number.
Yeah.
On all 20.
I got zero. I may have gotten a number, but I didn't even win like $1 or $2. Sometimes you win $2.
I didn't even get a number
when I was up there. And if I had won like any number that wasn't big, like $2 to $20, I was going to mail it up there and like give it to Sabrina, but I didn't win nothing for the girl.
Here's what you do next time it's $1 billion, Troy. Take $20, put 10 in your pocket, give 10 to me, and I'll slap you in the face. And you would have saved $10 and had just as much pain.
There you go. That's right. No pain involved. So.
All right. Well, it depends on how hard I slap you.
No, I meant
the
the other way
20?
around. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
That's good. 3 different top 3 lists from Broughton. You're overachiever. You're way overachieving here.
That was fantastic.
Now, for my notable mention, no, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Honorable notations. All right, Troy, you got a good word for us?
Yeah, so the good word is fruit. And it comes from Galatians 5:22-23, and it's the fruits of the Spirit. So, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such things there is no law. All of these things, we would have a better world. We would have a better society and culture if people would do more of these things. Kind of goes back to my top 3, just being kind, doing kindness, acts of kindness for people. So,
yeah, and I always use this passage because there's a lot of people that purport to be believers, or a lot of people that, like when I'm looking at from the context of kids, like, how do I know? I remember, I was a kid and some wrestler, whether it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan or maybe it was the Rock and Roll Express team, I'm not sure, but they were like, oh, we love Jesus or something. And I was like, oh my gosh, they're Christians. Ah! And then somebody was like, hey, dude, maybe, like, just because they say it doesn't mean it. And then we're like, how do I ever know? Because everybody either says they're a Christian or not a Christian. So everybody that says they're Christian may not be a Christian. And they're like, look, go look at Galatians chapter 5. And if you see love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control, if you see that, then you're seeing the fruit. Like you see an orange on a tree, you're like, oh, that's an orange tree, right? So if you see those things, then more than likely you could identify the tree by the fruit that they bear. And then I was like, oh, so it doesn't matter what they say, matters what you see,
what they do. And,
yeah. So if they're displaying this fruit all the time, then you're like, oh, okay, I may be able to identify that tree based on that, but not because they got a tag on a apple tree that says it's an orange tree. Oh, the tag says it's an orange tree. It's an orange tree. Well, not necessarily. Look at the fruit. Well, good.
Good
all
deal.
Right. All right. Thank you for filling in.
You're welcome.
You were awesome, and hopefully you offended all of your friends.
See you next week. Thanks for listening to the Hardheaded Podcast. Don't forget to share this podcast with others to help us get the word out.
Also, if you haven't yet, please rate and review the show. This helps our podcast show up in other people's suggested shows that may or may not have listened to us before.
Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.